Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Patrick Harrison. I'm the Assistant Commissioner for Motor Carrier Services at the Virginia Department of Motor Vehicles. We're excited to kick off today with the first in a series of live stream events designed to introduce to you our new IFTA and IRP system, which will be launching on August 11th. This new system, the Virginia IFTA IRP Management or VIIM system, replaces DMV's current Virginia MCS solution. The new VIIM system represents a major investment in you, our motor carrier customers, and is designed to make processing your IFTA and IRP transactions easier, faster, and more efficient. DMV's developed the VIIM system in partnership with Fast Enterprises, a national leader in software for government services. Fast software powers IRP and IFTA solutions in 21 other jurisdictions, including our neighbors West Virginia, Maryland, and Tennessee. Over the coming live stream sessions, we'll guide you through everything you need to know to make your transition to the VIIM system as smooth as possible. The focus of today's live stream will be on how to set up your access to the VIIM system through DMV's motor carrier portal. The new process will incorporate two-factor authentication through Octa to enhance the security of your account. And if you're not familiar with Octa, two-factor authentication, don't worry, we will cover that too. So let's get started. I'm going to turn over the presentation to Shannon Hardy, who many of you may already know. She is a Deputy Director in our Motor Carrier Services team responsible for administration of our IRP and IFTA programs. Shannon has been our key DMV resource on the VIIM system project and has been intimately involved in every step of its development. I'll let her introduce herself and a member of her staff who will be leading today's presentation and Q&A. Shannon?
Thank you, Patrick. Good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us today. Helping me today with your questions are Yolanda Fleming, Manager of the IFTA IRP Operations Team. Yolanda is monitoring the emails.
Hello, everyone.
Also, we have Robert Scott, Learning Designer for DMV. Scotty is monitoring the live chats.
Hello.
During our session, if you have any questions, please apply them directly to the live chat. For those that do not have a YouTube account, you may email us directly at vimsystemhelp@dmv.virginia.gov, and that is now showing on your screen. We are going to start with navigating through some helpful links that have been provided to you through the email notifications. On the screen is the bottom of the email that you all received. There is a link to the VIIM system frequently asked questions. Upon clicking on the link, you will see the FAQs. Take some time to review the FAQs. You may notice some of the topics in the FAQs are general system information, system access and setup, that includes password information, support and troubleshooting, and if you have a question that you seem to think is missing, please just let us know. Yolanda or Scotty, do we have any questions by chat or email?
There are no questions by email at this time.
There are no questions by chat.
Thank you. All right, so next we will review how you will set up your Octa authentication and log in to the motor carrier portal. Let's walk through the login process for those carriers that have access to EasyFleet and will use their already assigned user credentials. This is the motor carrier portal login screen. Once you click on login, you are directed to the Octa authentication user information screen. Enter your username and password. Once the VIIM system goes live on August the 11th, you will see the VIIM system link within the motor carrier portal. Click the link to be routed to the VIIM system homepage, where you will click on Login with Octa. For Virginia MCS users that do not already have Octa credentials, you will receive an email before go live with instructions on how to set up your new Octa account. You must complete this setup within 7 days from the date you receive the email. Now let's walk through that process. The email will provide you with the link to activate your Octa account. Follow all the prompts by the Octa authentication system. Once complete, access the motor carrier portal and follow the same directions we just reviewed. Yolanda or Scotty, do we have any questions in the chat or email?
I do have one question by email, and the question is, how long will the presentation be today?
Presentation should take no more than an hour. Thank you for that question. Scotty?
We have no questions in the chat.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to next look at some important dates. All right, go live for VIIM system is definitely August the 11th, 2025. For those that have July IRP renewals or tax returns due by July 31st, please ensure that your applications or tax returns are sent in time for delivery to DMV by July 31st to ensure timely completion. On August 4th, that is a Monday, online transactions must be completed and paid by 11:59 p.m. as the external user access to Virginia MCS will be disabled. All IRP supplements and IFTD decal transactions that remain unfinished or not paid will be converted, and all will not be converted. I am so sorry. They will not be converted and will require re-entry to the VIIM system. Tax returns will convert regardless of the status. Additionally, any application or tax return received but not processed will be completed within the VIIM system once we are live. Our next live sessions are scheduled for Wednesday, August 6th at 1 p.m., Wednesday, August 20th at 1 p.m., and Thursday, September 4th at 2 p.m. Yolanda or Scotty, do we have any questions in the chat or by email?
There are no additional questions by email.
There are no questions by chat.
So this really is the end. So I just wanted to give everyone a chance to maybe send your questions. It went a little bit faster than expected. So if there are any processes that you do want to see in the next upcoming sessions, please make sure you email that to us at the VIIM system help@dmv.virginia.gov. We do have a chat that just came in.
From Crank. Well, credentials will still be active, or do we have to set up new accounts on VIIM system?
All right, so just before go live, everyone that currently has a Virginia MCS logon will receive an email with instructions on how to set up your user credential information for the Octa authentication. You can set that up a week before we go live, and that way on go live date, August 11th, you will just be able to log into the motor carrier portal and access VIIM system. Are there any other chats?
Well, I think you already answered. The question is, will all this information be able to be reviewed again?
So we will save this YouTube session, so you will be able to come back to the YouTube session at any time to view it.
They can click on the link in the email.
You can click on the same link that was provided to you in the email.
Next question. If we have an unpaid renewal in the Virginia MCS system, do we need to restart the process in the new VIIM system?
All right, so Scotty says, if we have an unpaid IRP renewal in the Virginia MCS system, as of go live, will that still be there? And the answer is no. If you pay it before go live, then that will be completed. If you do not pay it by August the 4th, we will have to re-enter it into Virginia MCS. If we have the application, so if you send in a paper application, we will have those applications. You will not need to resend the application, but we will need to reprocess the supplement into the new system.
What will be converted the next 4 sessions?
What will be
Hoping
covered?
to see steps on how to file an input and the new IRP.
So what will be covered in the next couple of sessions? You're asking to see tax returns and any type of IRP supplement, if I heard that correctly. We can cover those in the next sessions. So we will add tax returns, and if there's a particular IRP supplement you would like to see, just let us know.
Question. Well, just to show us how to log in, will there be training on the new process with titling and registering gear?
All right, so titling you should continue to do through the Easy Fleet system. This is just for your IFTA and IRP program needs. So your IFTA taxes, your IFTA decal and license request, and IRP registration. There will not be an additional training session. That is what these sessions are for. So if there are things that you would very much like to see, let us know so that we can get them covered in the next sessions.
I have some questions through email. One of the questions is, I think we've already answered it, but will this live presentation be available with the same YouTube address after it is completed to rewatch?
So the answer to that question is yes. You will be able to re-click on the same link to view the YouTube session at a later time.
Next question through email is, do we need to attend all information sessions or are they all the same?
They will not all be identical. They may have some of the same information just in case someone new participates that didn't participate today. We will probably go over how you log in again, but then we will add those additional items that you request.
Next question through email. Well, it's actually two. It's very hard to participate in the chat in YouTube fast enough. If we access MCS with a different logon than we log into EasyFleet, how will our accounts be linked?
So EasyFleet today uses the Octa authentication. If you have access to EasyFleet, that same username and password is the username and password you will use to access the motor carrier portal, which will include links to both EasyFleet and VIIM system. So the only thing that really changes is that Virginia MCS username will just go away.
Another question by email. If you are retiring Virginia MCS, are those sidebar options now going into the VIIM system?
I'm not quite sure what you mean by sidebar options unless you are speaking in regards to like menus and different types of supplements. And so it is a different look and feel, but you will still have access to menus and the way in which you do your different types of supplements.
And in this same question, there's an additional one. This video only showed us how to log in. Will there be additional training on how to use them?
So if there are certain transactions or supplements that you would like to see, make sure you let us know within the chat or by email so that we can add those to the next sessions. Anything new in chat?
Questions in chat? When it comes to new or original account, do we still use the IRP 1A or new applications can be submitted directly and then different?
So we have an exciting new electronic application that combines both IFTA and IRP into one. So you are welcome to use that. It is before login, or you are still welcome to complete the RDT 120, which is the IFTA license application, and the IRP 1A, which is for IRP.
Next question, what if I do not have an EasyFleet account?
If you do not have an EasyFleet account, that is fine. Right before we go live, we will send everyone that has Virginia MCS user access an email. That email will give you directions on how to set up your Octa authentication using the motor carrier portal.
A question from John, which I think is a easy. Will you do training for how to do things under the platform?
Hi, John. That's a great question, but we are going to use these sessions to help provide training. The new system for the external users is very user-friendly, so we hope that it will be very intuitive and helpful as you use it. But again, if there is anything that you would desperately like to see, just let us know and we will add it to the next sessions.
If someone already has an Octa ID with VDOT, will this conflict with the VIIM system?
That is a fabulous question, and we will add that answer to the next session.
It should not.
Right.
Our Octa is DMV owned, so it should be completely separate from the VDOT. If there are any issues, at login or when you're trying to set it up, they can email us.
Okay. Can you write that down? Or just so we'll still follow up with a formal answer to that.
I have some questions in my email. If another employee is taking over this responsibility and I have the Virginia MCS credentials, do I need to create a new account login for the other employee?
And this is from Fabi with C&M Industries. I just want to make sure I answer this correctly. So if you are no longer going to need your access, then yes, the new person would create new access. If you are going to keep your access, you will still get the email before go live that's going to give you the login information on how to set up your Octa credentials. In the next session, we can cover how new users request access.
Another question by email. Hello, how do I submit new IFTA and IRP applications for new accounts? Is the IFTA IRP at dmv.virginia.gov email process going to change?
That is a really great question. So if you would like to use a new and exciting electronic application that combines both IFTA and IRP into one application process, you're welcome to do that. It will be from our VIIM homepage. It is before login. If you would like to still submit a paper application, whether you email it to iftairp@dmv.virginia.gov, or if you mail it, or if you fax it, or if you take it to a CSC for them to send it to us, those avenues right now are not changing. You would fill out the IRP 1A for IRP and the RDT 120 for IFTA.
Another question for clarification from Allie Flores. They're asking when setting up their Okta account, will they be using the same login as for their e-completed?
Yes, once you create your Octa credential, that same credential will be used for the motor carrier portal. Once you get into the motor carrier portal, you will have access to Easy Fleet and or VIIM system, depending on the system in which you have applied for.
Suggestion any walk one through the IFTA IRP registration on
So we will definitely take that note and we will go through an IFTA IRP original. Who was that from? Annie? Annie Bella. If you are looking for an original application, let us know and that's what we will show.
I have a question by email. Will the process still take 3 to 6 weeks for a new IFTA IRP account, or will this system process faster? Will this system be faster than the current MCS system?
So the business process that we currently have today will not change. The system components are definitely changing, but for an original, they will still require review and approval. They should not necessarily take 3 to 6 weeks unless the applications are being placed on hold and we're waiting for information from the customers. And that can create overdue churn.
I have another question by email. This question is, if we have an IRP renewing in August, should we renew in the old system or wait until go live in new system?
So this is the question from Apple Moving. You're more than welcome to submit it early, or you can wait and we can do it in the VIIM system. You kind of have the luxury of choosing whichever you prefer. Should be no different.
question from Alex Navia. Do we know if the IRP or if the original application will be expedited when this system goes live?
The IRP original applications would just fall in line with the rest of the application. Typically, we try to do first come, first serve. Unless it's renewal time, then we try to put the renewals that are going to expire within that same month ahead of others.
We selected the go live date that we did to try to minimize the impact to customers for things that were due for renewal or thinking of if the tax returns and things of that nature.
Another from True Blue Outdoorsman. Will the current company data information and prior transactions of Virginia MCS be transferred to them?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Will the current company data, information, and prior transactions on Virginia MCS be transferred to them?
So will the company data and transactions be converted into the VIIM system? So the answer to that is yes, unless you have a transaction that you leave unfinished. If you leave your transaction unfinished, it will not be converted and we will need to re-enter it into VIIM system.
And then back to 2019.
And they're reminding me to let you know that we will pull data back to 2019. There are some that will come in from like 2017 to forward.
Question by email. I already have an Octa account. When VIIM goes live and I log into the system, will my information automatically transfer to them?
That is a really great question from FL Moore and Sons, and the answer to your question is yes.
If it is an Okta account for access to the motor carrier portal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have an Okta account for, say, a bank, no.
And there is an Okta access for the driver alert system, and that is separate. So you would have to have Okta access in regards to Easy Fleet and or Easy Reg. That would be the same credential that you will be able to use to access the motor carrier portal and then access the programs that you wish to enter.
I have another question by email. This is from Premier Truck Group. My team uses add vehicle plus delete vehicles plus add and transfer vehicles the most to register new vehicles and transfer old retired plates to new units. Can we be shown how to do these in the new system?
Yes, absolutely. We will add adds, deletes, and transfers to the list.
One more from email, and this is from Ghazi Express. Can we do renewals on this new system?
Yes, you will be able to do your IFTA and or IRP renewals within the new system.
Two more from chat. The first is from Sandra Hazelwood. Will all of the videos from the session be available on YouTube for future viewing?
Yes, all of the sessions will be available for viewing on YouTube. You just need to re-access the same links that are within your emails.
Will the system show more information when it comes to hold or error messages? Because under the current system, when we have these issues, we have to call DMV or write an email, such as HBD2 stops.
Yes, so the new system has been brought in to include additional details and specific information in regards to stops. The new system calls it validation, so that is one of the tabs you will see, but your validations will indicate stops or hold information that is required for you to complete your transactions and or supplements.
I have a few more emails coming in. This next email is from Caton Companies, and what I'm asking is how will my MCS account be there if I currently log into MCS with a different email address than the one I use to log into EasyFleet? We use an address shop@ourcompany.com to access MCS. I use my personal email to access EasyFleet. How will that be resolved? I expect I may not have them at all when I go in through Octa.
You will not currently today see the VIIM link within the motor carrier portal. However, once it is loaded as of August the 11th, you will see the link. The username you use to log into EasyFleet is the one that you will use to log into the motor carrier portal. Then you will see the two links, both EasyFleet and VIIM system.
So if those emails are separate, they'll get a separate invitation to set up Okta for that email that they use to log into MCS, because we really are driving off email. So she could have two Okta logins, one for each email. If she wants that old one, if we want to add that current EasyFleet email she could add it to her MCS account, or we could do that after the fact as well to add that. They can request that access for that email in the VIIM system.
So he is saying that you will probably get one of the emails just before go live, giving you Octa authentication setup information based on the email that you use for Virginia MCF.
Yep.
But because you also use Easy Fleet, you could just use that user information and then that would also be your connection. So really you could, it's your choice. If you want to use two different ones or just use the one, I think having two might make it confusing. And as far as updating anything, we should wait to update it after go live.
Another question by email is from NECS Solutions. Can you show a few sample transactions in the next session, such as adding a unit? Also, will temps now be available?
Yes, we will add a vehicle in the next session. As far as temps, I'm not sure if you mean like a temporary authority of registration or a trip permit or a temporary plate. Temporary plates we will cover if you order vanity plates, so that will be taken care of within the new system. We will not have temporary authority of registrations, and trip permits are not yet ready to be built into the new system.
Another question by email. It is, does the Easy Haul password work as well?
That is a really great question. Unfortunately, no, the two systems will not be linked.
More questions from chat. First is from Alex Navia. When we submit forms, for example, the MCS 353 for agent access to the village, how long will the approval time be?
Yeah. I'm sorry, can you repeat the form number?
MCS 353.
Oh, that's the agreement. So the agreement process will be built into the new system. You will no longer access it from the DMV website. So it is completely built in and very interactive. It will be sent to the team for queue, access, and review. It will be a much better streamlined process.
Next question, will you be able to do IFTA quarterly return?
Yes. For all the carriers that file at a quarterly basis, you will be able to file your tax returns. And for the few that file at an annual basis, you will be able to file your annual returns.
Next question from Sheila Mackey. Will you be able to do MCS 150 update?
You will be able to change your safety on your IRP registration, but you will not access your federal motor carrier safety information. You should do that through their system.
Another question by email. Can a company have multiple users access?
Yes, companies can have multiple users. Each user will have their own access. Agents will have the ability to have an administrator, and the administrator can help to mitigate some of the new user accesses. And so we'll work through all of that. Maybe we can show you something in the next session.
Another question by email, and this is from American Electric Power. If we have someone separate for IFTA, will they be able to create their own login, or will it be one active user per business account?
That is a really great question. You can have as many users for your company that you like, and you are able to mitigate what type of program you want them to have access to. Scotty?
With more from chat. This one is from John. What does VIIM stand for?
Fabulous question. Virginia IFTA IRP Management System. So if we put the Virginia IFTA IRP Management together, we get VIIM. So we call it VIIM System.
VIIM.
VIIM.
Right. Great.
Great.
Thank you, Commissioner
Thanks,
Lackey.
boss.
Next question by email is, how will you discuss how to add or delete a vehicle with the new system and how to file your quarterly IFTA return?
In the next session, I would like to be able to show you the screens and maybe talk you through the process. If you guys have a better idea in which you would like to receive the information, please just let us know through chat or email.
Next question by email is how is the agent access going to be affected? I have 50 clients under my agent access. Are they going to transfer automatically or manually one by one?
They should convert automatically. I'm checking with our project manager and he is saying yes.
Check your access, same thing, when you're logging in to view your account, check your addresses. We think we got it right. We've been testing it for a long time, but please, make sure you have access and we'll, fix as needed.
Well, you guys, I totally did not introduce him, but that is Chad Fairman, the project manager of our wonderful, beautiful project.
We have some more from the chat. This one from Frank Bonilla. Will HBUG payments and reports link, be linked, or will the new system, or I'll try that again. Will HBU payments and reports be linked, or will the new system know that taxes are paid? Usually I have to send verification of payment.
We also would very much love it if we could somehow link it all together through the federal rules program. However, you will still have to upload your proof of paid heavy vehicle use tax. The beauty in the new system is that you'll be able to upload it directly to the system, so you won't have to email it to a separate email address. When you upload it to the system, it will create a task for the team and we'll still have to key the proofing that you paid the heavy vehicle use tax. If you pay it timely and you submit it before the suspension takes effect, then you should never have a stop on your vehicle.
We have another question by email, and this is from Essex Concrete. When using the new system, will reporting IFTA quarterly taxes still follow the same steps, procedures to file the taxes?
Yes, it will still follow the same due dates. Penalty and interest, if late, will still be applied. Additional interest, if you have to pay it later, that will continue to accrue. Different things would be if you file figures that are deemed inappropriate or unrealistic, we will have new incomplete processes where we'll tell you, hey, something is wrong with your tax return figures, report it. We need you to fix it. It will go out by email. You will also get a letter. We're not going to file that tax return until we ensure that the tax figures are the most appropriate ones for the program. And we can show you that as well in the next sessions.
So we have another one from Premier Truck Group. And I don't know if Tia actually heard us read this email on the video. So I'm going to read it again for it's my team uses add vehicle, delete vehicle, add and transfer vehicle. The most to register new vehicles and transfer old retired plates to new units. Can we be shown how to do these in the new system?
Absolutely. We will add add vehicle, delete vehicle, and transfer to one of the next sessions.
I'll do one more by email and then I'll let Scotty do whatever's coming through chat. The next one by email says, could you please show how to add, remove vehicles from the VIIM system on the next session?
Absolutely. We will show add vehicles and delete vehicles in the next sessions.
Well, in the desk of chat, we have Ali Flores again asking or saying they're taking over for a coworker that's needed. Do they need to obtain their own access to Easy Fleet, or would that affect their business account if they both have access?
You cannot share access. So every person must have their own username and password to access the motor carrier portal. Once in the motor carrier portal, you should be able to click on the link to Easy Fleet or Easy Reg based on the system you have access to. And as of August 11th, you should have a new link for VIIM system. And Alex, if that doesn't answer your question, just send us another chat.
So a question from Sheila Monty. like a downloadable PowerPoint presentation showing how to perform multiple functions such as renewal and the vehicle, etc.
So that's a really great ask. I would suggest saving the links to the live sessions because for right now, that's what we will have to offer, but we are definitely taking note to see if we're able to put together any more information. It might not happen before go live, but we will do our best to work on it.
The last one thus far, is it safe to assume that at the end of the day, that an actual processor, motor carrier team member, will still have to review all or some of the processes that are done?
Yes, there are many processes within VIIM that will trigger a task for the electronic operations team to review. So if they have to review the task, they'll have to approve it or deny it. If they deny it, they're going to tell you why. You will get an email. You might also get a letter, but you're going to know why.
I have a couple more questions through email. This one is from Ernest Kidd with AE Trucking Service. I have never been able to reset my login information with Virginia MCS system. So would I need to apply for a new account when system goes live?
That is a really great question. So if you could follow back up to that same email, if the email address used for the email question is the same email address used for your Virginia MCS login, just let us know. We'll try to get that corrected before go live. If not, we'll get it corrected with conversion. But either way, we will get with you.
And the last question thus far through email is from Tim White with Givens Transportation. When we changed from WebCat to the current system, we had to change our fleet numbers. Will we have to change our fleet numbers again? We have 7 fleets.
No, you will not need to change your fleet numbers.
In the chat, we have Edith Martin, who says, we need the steps in doing the IFTA and IRP renewal, and will the old pile still be available?
Yes, old information is converting 2017 to current. Before that, we won't have the information anymore. Steps, we will go over a renewal in one of the next sessions, so that should help. Scotty, did I cover everything? Okay.
There are no more questions in email at this time.
No more questions in chat.
All right, so it's about 2:38 p.m. If there are no last minute questions to either the chat or the email, thank you everyone so much for joining us. This will wrap up our session today and we will see you in the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.